because he was standing next to me, and it's just unfortunate that something transpired after another dice game, but neither incidents had anything to do with a dice game.
Now J Prince and his son are in the news once more, and this time, believe me, it's not for the better. Whack 100 is accusing them of running a loaded dice game scam in which they allegedly lure rappers to Houston, get them to play dice, and then rob them. Even worse, the streets are rife with rumors that J Prince Jr., 29, and Duke the Jeweler, 29, may have lost their lives as a result of these dubious dice games, was sadly robbed and killed in September 2022 after winning $100,000 in a dice game in Houston. You can guess who was involved. That's right, J Prince Jr. According to sources, following Duke's big win, he was ambushed and shot multiple times as he was making his way to his car. The real kicker, though, is that Duke's opponents are still at large, unsolved questions notwithstanding. Less than 2 months later, the hip-hop world was rocked once more when Takeoff, the youngest member of Migos, was shot in Houston as well. A lot of people are seriously side-eyeing the Prince family and wondering if they are somehow connected to the tragic deaths of these young rappers. So what's really going down at these dice games? Outside of a dice game and surprise, surprise, Takeoff and Quo were guests of none other than J Prince JJ. So is it all just a coincidence, or is there something more sinister going on with these dice games? Let's investigate and uncover the true involvement of RJ Prince and his team in these calamities. The entertainer invites an in-act such as, covering form, hanging out, everything is cool, let's go here, let's go there, let's go here, let's go there. He introduces the dice game, so for those who might not be in the loop, let me spill the details on Jay Parsi. He's not just any ordinary music executive, he's the CEO and co-founder of the Houston-based label Rap A Lot Records. He likes to call himself Jazz Prince, the son of Houston's royalty who has been ruling the city for a while. Isn't simply living in his father's shadow, he's really out here making waves with his streetwear brand Mob Ties. But this is where things get interesting. Rumor has it that when well-known rappers arrive in Hollywood, J Prince acts as their unofficial bodyguard, making sure they're safe and sound. It all sounds good, right? Well, not quite so quickly. Rumors about this so-called protection service are circulating, with some saying that J Prince and Jazz may be pulling a fast one on these artists, allegedly extorting them and charging exorbitant sums of money for their protection. His tragic death has only fueled the fire. But he wasn't the first person to lose their life after attending one of J Prince's infamous dice games. A few months prior, Chicago's Duke the Jeweler won a whopping $100,000 at one of these games, but things took a dark turn when he was reportedly robbed and later ambushed and killed while walking to his car. As if that wasn't shady enough, there are even rumors flying around about these dice games they host where artists supposedly end up getting set up and taken off. And then some fans were quick to criticize Takeoff after his tragic death, claiming that given what had happened to Duke the Jeweler just 2 months earlier, he should have known better than to get involved with J Prince and the Mob Ties crew. After hearing all the rumors about the Prince family, they said Takeoff should have kept his distance because there's no reason to risk himself or his family. The man who should be removed is Patrick Xavier Clark, officially charged by a grand jury for Takeoff, and now that the trial is scheduled to begin later this year, everyone is watching. People are excited about what might be revealed during the trial, and trust me when I say that it will be an exciting ride because there is a lot on the line and a lot of drama surrounding the case. This trial is sure to go down in history, so make sure to check it out. In actuality, Patrick Xavier Clark secured an astounding $1 million bond only 1 day after his arrest. And, without warning, he was placed under house arrest. But wait, things get even wilder. In November 2023, the regulations change. Clark is no longer under house arrest and is not required to wear a monitor. The only restriction he faces is a curfew that runs from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. every day. However, the court documents also state that Clark is prohibited from speaking with any relatives of Takeoff victims or witnesses, including J Prince Jr. and Shakur Stevenson. And the sequence, 2 claims he is unable to get in touch with Jr.'s father, J Prince, in any way. This is causing quite a stir in the community, as you may already know. People are wondering how someone can go from being under house arrest to only having a curfew, as well as what will happen next. Clark is undoubtedly being watched closely to see what his next move will be. However, there is now a new development in this saga. Patrick Xavier Clark will not change his position with his lawyer or abandon his innocence cause. Letitia Conis Hollins recently spilled some tea to Rolling Stone, and she made it clear that her client didn't fire those bullets that K the takeoff, but the lawyer didn't stop there. She threw some serious shade at the investigators, claiming that the video and ballistic evidence they're using against Clark is shaking. She seems prepared to go to trial, but at best she's just stating that the so-called proof won't be as strong as everyone believes when the case gets to trial. Poke numerous holes in the prosecution's case by pointing out that someone else, not Patrick Clark, initiated the incident. This person, known as Holland, told Rolling Stone that he was in the same situation as Takeoff and that he was also trying to escape alive. Holland had nothing to do with the argument that transpired. He was simply unlucky to be somewhere at the wrong time when gunfire began. This is where things get even more bizarre though, because there is a theory that is circulating that is leaving people scratching their heads. There are people who genuinely think that Takeoff was sacrificed. Yes, you read that right. These conspiracy theorists are not just making this up, they are also pointing to the fact that he was born on Halloween, as if that were some sort of sinister sign. But the rabbit hole goes even deeper than that. Fans have been talking about how he and Quo released the music video for their song Messy just one day before Takeoff's tragic death. And let me tell you, the imagery in that video is so eerie that it has people wondering if it Quo casually sitting there with while he looks over Amigo's contract talk about ominous, but the real kicker Takeoff is standing right next to a drawing of the Grim Reaper with the words RIP scribbled next to it. It's almost like it was a chilling preview of what was to come, so naturally fans started connecting the dots and realized it was all a setup or some kind of dark foreshadowing. In one scene, there's a group of people gambling and arguing over cars, which is giving major dice games. Descending into a plethora of hypotheses, some people really believe that all of this was a dark, twisted scheme. Some believe it's simply a strange coincidence, but nonetheless, it gets everyone discussing and delving even further into what really transpired that evening. However, why would anybody ever consider giving up a celebrity like Takeoff? Many people around him and himself prospered. However, here is where things reportedly go wrong in the music industry. Death might occur on the field, sometimes be just as successful as a smash song. In an interview, Cat Williams revealed some serious information about this topic. Although he didn't directly mention any names, the way he was speaking made people sit up and take notice. He hinted that it's not a coincidence that so many young rappers are dying tragically young. Rather, he claimed that there is a shadowy side to the industry where those at the top profit handsomely from the deaths of rappers. There are some in the background who stand to gain financially from these fatalities, which is why these tragic trends persist. But this lot of music isn't just the cat spilling the tea. Since TR's death, industry insiders have been trying to warn up and coming rappers about the sketchy things that go down behind the scenes, especially when they get involved with Jay Prince and his entire crew. Former music executive and video director Robbie Starbuck even went viral for speaking out about these alleged sacrifices made by the industry. He released a video that got everyone talking and shared some thought-provoking ideas about what might actually be going on in the music business.
The truth is this, a bunch of young black male rappers keep dying. You know who's not dying? Record executives. The record executives that push for them to continue to make songs and create a culture that is obsessed with death.
Starbucks outright asserted that executives are deliberately guiding African American musicians toward detrimental practices that negatively impact their own communities. According to Starbucks, this is all part of a devious plan to keep these musicians and their supporters in a state of perpetual trauma, because as the industry is obsessed with, they are easier to control and manipulate with money. However, those record executives are not dying because they don't push this culture on their own people. Rather, they're encouraging you to do so, and they're paying you handsomely to do it. You are being used, you've been used for a long time. You know, they create this paradigm to make you feel extremely important and your celebrity status is worth a lot, but in actuality, you're just a pawn in their game. And you always has long sought to oppress communities of people through various means. In the Black community, their strategy has been to use entertainment to foster a culture obsessed with death money, in order to create a false paradigm of what success and happiness really meant. This is where Starbu really raised the stakes. He didn't just call out the record executive, he went so far as to say that these powerful figures in the music industry are actually working together. Government and using black artists as pawns to push some seriously questionable agendas, so I challenge you use your power to do the right things. If you continue to do the same thing you've done, more rappers like this are going to die. How many have to die before you change the culture now, Robbie? Starbuck may have been ambiguous when he said that record label executives are profiting from the deaths of musicians. But you know Jaguar Wright isn't one to hold back. She's out here making connections. And you can guess who she's criticizing. In her most recent interview with Real Life Productions, none other than Jay Prince and Jay-Z revealed a wild theory connecting Megan Thee Stallion's drama with Jay Prince, who used to be her label ball, and Takeoff's tragic death. Jay Prince didn't just spill the tea, she poured the entire kettle. Megan signed a contract with 1501 Certified Entertainment in 2018, but by 2020 she was actively attempting to renegotiate it, which led to a great deal of conflict in her debut. The recording was not released on time. Theory of Jaguar's Rock Nation had its sights set on Megan and intended to fully take over her career, but Jay Prince wasn't going to let that happen without a fight. Then, just as things were getting off to a wonderful start, Megan unexpectedly passed away, shocking everyone. According to Jaguar, this tragedy served as a pretext for Rock Nation to intervene and seize control of Megan's career. But wait, let's not absolve Jay Prince of responsibility. The word on the street is that Jay Prince has been luring rappers to Houston with the promise of these dice games, which might seem harmless at first. But here's the kicker: once things get intense and the stakes get high, it's allegedly the perfect setup for someone to get taken out. And when things go south, it's all conveniently written off as just another moment of chaos. Whack 100 didn't hold. Either way, the rumor mill is buzzing with some major accusations from different rappers, and things are getting heated.
Corporate Takeoff's death wasn't nothing but a corporate hostile takeover using his life as the god. Oh my God.
Yeah, RP Takeoff.
That boy died so they could cash in a insurance policy and to cover up the fact that Rock Nation was ripping Megan away from 300. I guess nobody's paying attention to the fact that complete control of Megan Thee Stallion's career was taken over right after Takeoff died.